Hello and welcome to round 11 of the Zafiralis All Rounder Championship tonight at Aston Rallycross ARC with the Skoda Felicia kit car. I'm Peter Butcher, you're watching Sim Broadcasts, and tonight's a bit of a weird one. I'm currently in an apartment in Vienna. That's my setup, so we'll see how this goes. Yeah, fun times. Tonight we are in Live for Speed for some rallycross action. We've got some heat races coming up for you, so let's get the show on the road and show you what's going on in this round of the championship. Let's take a look at the broadcast schedule for the rest of the year. We are one round away after tonight from the end of the All-Rounder Championship season for 2025, and it's a slick tyre race that's coming up in December. And yeah, tonight we've got the Skoda Felicia kit car, as I mentioned before. We have this mod has been approved actually by Skoda, so thank you very much to Stuclo for all of his efforts. We saw it earlier this year, actually in season 1 of RTFR, round 6, and this is the second time it's going to make its appearance in Live for Speed. It's a 1.6 litre inline-4 front-wheel drive car with around about 173 horsepower, weighing just under a ton. Good fun, and we're going to see plenty of stuff happening tonight. Not sure we're going to have all the heat races as advertised. They're going to be 5 laps with a 6-lap final, so slightly different to what's advertised there. But we're going to be driving at the Aston Rallycross track, 1.5 kilometre, 0.9 miles around here, so fairly tight and twisty. But yeah, let's get this show on the road, shall we? We have a fair few things to get through before we see action on the track, the first of which is going to be the Drivers' Championship standings. So let's take a look at how those currently stand. It's Thamuli leading the way with 132 points ahead of Nico Pontola. In second with Sufor, Roni, Motomikari, Manchester, Lorenzo, Magic, Michael and Kirill rounding out your top 10. And we'll let these results fly on by because we've had a fair number of drivers competing in the Zafiralis All Rounder Championship Season 2 for 2025, and good to get them all on the screen for you this evening. We are around about a minute away from the start of, I think, our first heat race, so fingers crossed we have some grids to show you in a moment's time. There are the final drivers in the Drivers' Championship standings. 47 of them have scored at least 1 point so far this season, but as you can tell, Thamuli is streaking away with this one, over 40 points clear, 41 points clear of Unite at the top of the table as we get ready for our first heat race of the evening. Let's see if we have those for you, and fingers crossed this works. Not quite ready for us, so we'll get the results of that up on screen just as soon as we can. But yeah, just a reminder that we are on round 11, the final dirt round of 2025 for the championship, and fingers crossed we get some on-track action to you in as soon as we can bring that to you. We'll have it on screen, of course. I should make a quick shout out that we will have a test race for the Retro Cup. That's the Race Green Events Retro Cup. That will be tonight at, what will that be? I'm in Vienna, which is UTC +1, so that will be at 8 o'clock UTC tonight, so just after the end of this round. All slightly confusing tonight, but we'll try and get there. So, yep, just waiting to get the start of the race, and I'll bring you pictures just as soon as I can. Don't go anywhere. Here we go then. Let's head over to the track and see who we have on the board. It is Unite, Roni, Magic and Majesta. As we look at them, and we're off. We've already lost Unite, so we're down to 4 already as the drivers make their way onto the long straight down towards the bottom of the track here. It's Roni in the bright green car that we focus on, but into the lead we have who is that? It's Magic takes over the lead. Around turn 1 they go. Up to this tight hairpin where we saw such action last year. This was the final round of the championship, But instead of being heat races, it was one huge long race. In the background there, battling, it's Martin Kapal with Mad Jester, both using the same livery by the looks of it, confusingly. Slightly different configurations of car. And, well, as they make their way through the final chicane, it's Mad Jester currently in P3. They go over the start-finish line. You see there it's updated. And Unite somewhere around the back of the track trying to catch up. But in this first heat, it's going pretty well so far for Magic. The gap to Roni increasing ever so slightly, but Mad Jester trying to bridge that gap to Roni now. Oh, as Magic tags the wall, Roni could have a run here. Roni with a tighter line, but Magic's still in the lead as they come up to the chicane for the second time. And Magic still just about has it. But riding on board now with Roni, he's side by side. He'll have the inside for the next corner. And it's looking good. Looking good for him. He might just about have it. But here comes Mad Jester. Mad Jester's caught up to them while they've been scrapping side by side. Roni takes over the lead for definite. But he's going to need to run away because Mad Jester is now right behind Magic. And you'll get an updated timing tower at the start-finish line. Unite posting the fastest lap of the race on the previous time around, even though he's half a minute behind the field. So that's unfortunate start for him as Magic tags the wall, manages to catch it, but is all sorts of out of shape coming into the hairpin here. But they they exit as they entered, with Roni starting to stretch a little bit of a gap, half a second at the last timing line. We'll get an update now. And it is over a second and a half lead now for Roni. As Mad Jester closes in on the back of Magic. Magic slightly wide. But Mad Jester not able to capitalise at the moment. Again, Magic taking 2 bites of the hairpin, slightly wide. Mad Jester with better lines at this point in the race. But has to try and find a way through. Pretty difficult to do. As there is now contact between the two of them. Magic's put slightly offline by Mad Jester there, but neither of them look like they're going to be able to catch Roni before the end of this race, unless Roni makes a big accident, makes a big mistake. Onto the final lap then. Roni's opened the gap to 1.6 seconds. Mad Jester trying to chase down Magic for P2. Very colourful livery there from Magic. Grey, yellow and pink. But just has to keep it together for less than a lap now. But Roni has everything under control. 1.7 seconds the gap, so good pace from Roni. Remember, the heat races are all about the time that you complete the race, not the position that you complete the race in. The position only matters in the semi-finals, as now Mad Jester won't be close enough coming out of the final hairpin. Roni is through the chicane. Across start-finish he will go to finish the race. It is Magic in P2. Mad Jester hard into the tyre wall at the exit of the final corner. Martin Kapal will take P4 in the first heat race. Unite's going to have a few more seconds to wait before he will be classified in P5. but he will get a time for the first heat. Here he comes. Over start finish. Hard into the wall again, but registers a finish. So in 5 minutes 16 seconds, Roni wins ahead of Magic and Majesta. Martin Kapal takes P4 and Unite in P5. All right, so we don't have grids, unfortunately. We don't have those graphics for you, but we will do our best here anyway as we wait for the next race to begin. Out on track, we have Michael Malik, Thamuli, Sufor, Motomikari, and Tim DC, who will be doing a little bit of practice in the background here before they take to the track for the start of the second heat race. Here we go then for the second race. And as we look at the grid, it's Sufor, then it's Tim, Motomikari, Michael Malik, and Thamuli. The lights go out and we are away. It's a good start for Sufor there on the left of your shot. He is going to have a great run down to the first sort of kink here. In fact, he might be completely clear of the rest of the field. But we've got collisions at the back. That's Motomikari. Oh, and cars tangling at the front as well. Sufor out in the lead. Tim DC muscling his way up into second place, with Motomikari being forced backwards. But it's a good start from Michael Malik. He is up to third. Thamuli there at the back. Live on Twitch as usual. You can check out his stream if you wish on Twitch at Thamuli_. And it is Thamuli who is fighting his way through at the back there, but it's Sufor leading, Tim DC in second, third place for Michael Malik, the 3 MRC cars at the front, the 2 Zafiralis cars at the back. Championship leader Thamuli now pushed down to the very last place, battling side by side with his teammate. These two need to be trying to get to the front. Remember, it's about time, not position, and they're still going at it, the teammates, but Thamuli is through now at this point. On to lap 2, Sufor has the lead. DC and Michael, as they were. I think all the action is going to be between these two then. The Zafiralis teammates. Apologies for the lapse in audio there, having a bit of connection trouble, but I am back as we continue to watch Thamuli here on lap number 3 of the race. It is still Sufor leading the way at the front. Behind him it's still Tim DC, so no change in the running order of the top 3. But Thamuli is actually now starting to close in on Michael Malik. The gap is coming down slowly but surely. But Sufor with another fastest lap across the line. And now 3.6 seconds ahead of Tim DC. With Michael Malik there. Dropping back a little bit. But Thamuli, I think, really wants to get this podium position. Absolutely going for it. On to the final lap comes Sufor then. This is a great race from him. The pace is going to be putting him probably at the top of the standings into the second heat. Michael Malik's got nothing to say for Tim DC either, who's put in a good run. And Thamuli, I don't think he's going to get close enough for a podium. He's gained some time, but that time lost at the beginning, battling with his teammate Motta McCarry, is really going to hurt him after the first set of heats here. Plenty of racing still to come. 3 sets of heats, of course, so plenty of time for him to make it up. The fastest 2 heat times will set the order for the finals. As through the final corner comes Sufor to win race 2 of heat 1. And it's a good time as well, 5 minutes 5, so faster than heat 1. Oh, as Tim DC goes over the tyres, rolls it. But does finish in P2. That's a spectacular looking roll at the end there. All the drivers pushing as hard as they could over the line on the final lap. And there you have it. In 5 minutes 5 seconds, Sufor wins ahead of his teammates Tim DC and Michael Malik. Thamuli P4, only 9 seconds behind in the end after that kerfuffle with his teammate Motta McCarry on the opening lap, and 13 seconds off for Motta McCarry. So I think that is all the drivers for the first set of heat races. I will now be able to put the grids together for heat number 2. We'll bring you those just as soon as we can. We have cars on the track for the second heat race, or the first race of the second heat. As the drivers spool up their engines, it's Magic, Mad Jester, Motta McCarry, Martin Capal, and Unite, and we are away. Magic with a good start. He's got a nose ahead of everyone else as we run down towards the first little kink. Oh, a bit of a clip of the barrier there for Martin Capal, I think. Oh, and 2 cars spinning round. Martin and Mad Jester tangling once again as Magic heads into the first corner first, followed by Motta McCarry and Unite up to P2. So after that horrendous race 1 where he's half a minute behind, he's right back in the thick of it, which is what he needs to do for these final 2 heat races that he will take part in. it's Majesta who comes out ahead of Martin Kapal at the moment at the back, but at the front, Magic riding against the wall there, gets the turn in eventually, but Unite has closed right back up to him. Let's ride on board through the final set of corners, up over the grass, clicks it in. Oh, takes two turns in, brushes up against the tyres. That was a bad start to the lap for Unite. Martin McElroy not close enough to capitalise, but for sure we'll have a decent run on Unite on this lap, I reckon. Yeah, look at that, Martin McElroy. A good line through turn 1. But it's single file through this section. All but Unite's tapped the wall. But Martin McElroy hasn't had a great exit himself, so mistakes from both these drivers means Magic has opened up that gap even more. You can see him disappearing into the distance. As we come up to a heavy braking zone on the grass, the drivers use the wall for stability. Martin McElroy with a nice turn in, actually a better exit than Unite. As we head to the end of lap 2 already. So tight through here, but Martin McElroy doing well, but Magic has everything in hand. 1.5 seconds then ahead of Unite. Further second back to Martin McElroy. Just there, trying to close in, but not happening so far. And Martin Kapal in P5. Through the final corner we come. Unite is being closed in on a little bit here by Martin McElroy, or it might just be that Magic is gaining time hand over fist. But Martin McElroy is closest driver to another car on the track, so let's give him the airtime that he deserves. Can he find a way through? This will mean that Thamuli won't have his teammate to worry about in the second race of Heat 2. But as we head down to the hairpin, the gap, as you can tell, has gone up. But again, a nice entry into the hairpin, but Unite just able to edge away once more. And as we head over start finish, I feel like the gap has come down to Magic. Yeah, it has. It's come down by 0.2 of a second. But we're on the final lap. Unite is going to have to do something pretty special. And Magic's probably going to need to make a mistake for the order to change at this stage. It'll be 2 wins from 2 for Magic if he can make it happen. He'll be happy with that. But a good run so far. Yeah, Unite's not gonna gain the time he needs in one more corner. Just one heavy braking zone to go for Magic. Oh, Unite clips the wall. Oh, he's coming in quite hot. But Magic's got it all in hand. There he goes around the final corner. Just one chicane to go. And it's 2 from 2 for Magic. He wins his first heat race of Heat 2. Unite hard into the wall again. Martin McElroy will take P3. Majesta comes across the line in P4. And Martin Kapal will cross the line in 5th place and last in that one. Five minutes 12 for Magic. That is 7 seconds slower than the previous heat race. So just shows you the difference between the different drivers in the different heats here. But Magic wins Unite second and Motomikari third, with Majesta and Martin Kapal taking up the rear. The next heat will be along shortly. That'll be Thamuli, Roni, Sufor, and Tim. Michael Malik will be there too. Time for race number 2. And we are away. And everyone gets going. It's pretty even, but on the left-hand side there, it is Sufor who gets another good launch. The same as he did in race 1, but there we go. Contact, somebody being spun around. That's Tim DC. Oh, and Sufor's been absolutely wiped out as well. Michael Malik takes over the lead of the race. Roni is trying to make gains. I'm surprised he didn't make more gains, considering everybody was absolutely thrown out there. But Sufor away cleanly. Sorry, not away clean. Michael Malik's got a good run now. Doing well at the front. Sufor's managed to get to P3 after that big crash. Roni lost more time and is just having all sorts of trouble. Just cannot get the car to behave. Finds himself down at the back. So everyone else was facing backwards just a few corners ago. But out of the final corner comes Michael Malik. This has been a dramatic and disastrous, somewhat disastrous race so far for everybody. As Thamuli finds himself in P2 with Michael Malik to contend with here. Sufor trying to get back to the front, having a look at Thamuli there. As we ride on board now with Thamuli, and I think this is going to be the closest race we've had. Sufor got a blistering time in his first heat race, 5 minutes and 5 seconds. So much quicker than the other drivers in the other heat. And had a heck of a gap at the beginning of his first race. So let's see if he can get to the front in the 3 laps we have left. Michael Malik, always wide, always wide. There's a big send up the inside there for Tim DC. Huge lunge on Sufor, upsetting the apple cart there. Michael Malik, lucky to still be in the lead after that, but Tim DC with a big send. Took me by surprise, probably also took Sufor by surprise, but finds himself up to P2 then. As bullied out of the way was Thamuli. Sufor not happy with the move from Tim DC, gets pushed wide, and Sufor takes that back. But all the while, Michael Malik is being allowed to open the gap at the front, 2.2 seconds now. And that was at the start-finish line. We'll get an update down towards the hairpin. Yep, 2.3 now, down to 1.9. And what can Sufor do? Oh, hit hard into the wall for Tim. Again, another mistake. Costs him dearly. He's not able to get the move done there into the hairpin this time. And Sufor has a clean run then to try and get up to the back of Michael Malik as we head on to lap 3 of 5 in the 4th race of the evening, the 2nd race in Heat 2. Round 11 of the Zafiralis All Rounder Championship, the second season of this championship, and the penultimate round of the year. Before is closing in on him. The gap down to just over 1 second now. The laps are running out. 1 to go at the end of this one. And only 1 corner and a chicane to go for all of our drivers. Michael doing a bit of a wall ride. Sufor with the rear of the car stepping out nicely. And look how much time he gains into there. Fantastic stuff. Only a couple of car lengths now behind. And this could be game on between our top two. Fastest lap for Sufor at the moment. Fastest lap again. The gap down to 4 tenths. But actually, I think looking at that, it's going to be smaller than that. That's right on board. Tim DC into the tyre stacks behind, losing more time. Thamuli potentially going to get him. But we'll stick with this battle. Sufor makes contact with the back of Michael. That's how close he is. And let's see. Oh, yeah, more contact for Sufor, but there's only one more real opportunity, and it's going to be on the brakes into the hairpin. He's got a much, much better run. Michael Malik not as committed on the throttle there. Can Sufor get him on the brakes? Michael much, much more sideways. Sufor commits to the outside line, and he's trying to do him around the outside. Michael will have the inside. He has to give him a bit of a bump. He does, but it's not enough. Sufor through and into the lead. This will be his second win from 2. And let's see what the time is. This will see where he ends up in the grand scheme of things. But a cross-start finish, hard for Sufor, but it doesn't matter. He wins. And it's 5 minutes 14. It's a slow heat from all of these drivers after that terrible opening lap. But it is Michael robbed at the final corner to take P2. Tim DC is your third place finisher, with Thamuli and Roni finishing everyone within about 5 seconds of each other. All right, well, let's get the results up on screen before we start the next heat race, which will be coming up in just a couple of seconds' time. Race 5, heat 3. But here we go. Sufor in 5 minutes 14 wins ahead of Michael Malik, Tim DC, Thamuli, and Roni Krompush as the drivers get ready in the background. Well, here we go then. Start of the third heat. We're trying to get the results to you so we can tell you who is currently leading. But for now, as it stands, we're just going to enjoy the racing action. And what will be, will be. It's a poor start there for Mad Jester. Thamuli, Roni, Martin Kapal and Unite get a good launch. And actually, Martin Kapal with the best launch at the moment. He's on the inside line. He's going to get Roni coming across at him, but he does have the lead marginally, but he's forced into the tyre stacks. Sufor out wide into the wall, but sneakily takes back the lead. Unite's trying to get around the outside of Martin Kapal. In fact, he probably... Ooh, no, he hasn't. I thought he would do it, but he hasn't. So Sufor leads, Martin Kapal, then Unite, then it's Roni and Mad Jester. They're having to do all the hard work once again. but it is Thamuli who leads. Thamuli leads. Now Martin Kapal in P2. Unite in P3. And he's going up the inside. He's trying to make the move. Roni's there as well. Martin's going to be hung out to dry if he's not careful. No, Martin's got the run on Roni. Roni's on the tarmac early. It's going to be close. Single file through the final corner. And Martin keeps P3. Through the final chicane they come. And it is Thamuli still leading the way. Unite in P2. Roni in third. And Martin Kapal is now being caught again by Thamuli. Sorry, by Madjester. As they go side by side into the first corner. And Madjester, I think, will have this done. He's been catching him for a while. Still on the outside, actually. Martin, not a good exit, and yep, Madjester is ahead. But back to the front we go. Thamuli doing everything right at this point. As we come up to the final corner. And on to lap 4, 2 to go in this race. But it's starting to get closer. I think Thamuli might be getting reeled in here. And Roni's keen to get in on the action as well. One more heat race after this, and then we're into the finals. Reminder that Thamuli is live on Twitch, and while I remember, there is another test race for Retro Cup right after this broadcast, 8 o'clock UTC. So please head along to that. We're on the final lap of this race. It is Thamuli leading Unite. And I think that is the way it is going to stay. Neither of these two giving up time at this point. So unless there's an error coming out of this next corner for Thamuli, I think he is alright. That's a good exit. Unite slightly worse as they head down towards the hairpin for the final time in the heat races. Waiting in the wings, we've got Sufor, Tim DC, Michael Malik, Motta Macari. Eagerly awaiting their final heat race, as across the start finish line will come Thamuli to take the win. Everyone pushing as hard as they can across the start finish line. Unite in second, Roni in third. Going to be Madjester across the line in fourth, and Martin Kapal is still somewhere out there. There he is, over start finish. Grabs himself 5th place. And the heat time was 5:10, so faster than they managed in the previous race that these guys did. Unite there in P2, Roni P3, Manchester 4th, and Martin Kapal in 5th. Right, moments to go then before the final heat race of this event. And it's going to be Motta Macari, Magic, Sufor, Tim DC, and Michael. Here we go then. As they line up from left to right, it's Sufor, Michael, Tim DC in the middle, with Magic alongside him, and Motta Macari. It's a great start once again for Sufor as he heads down towards the first corner. Oh, and it was just about the cleanest start we've had, but Motta Macari heads into the wall, loses quite a bit of time. Tim's going up the inside of Magic, pushes him wide, he's spun again. MDC not having a good one. But Sufor leads the field into the first chicane. So Sufor then, Michael and Magic. Motta Macari up to 4th place. MDC finding himself in last at this point. And Sufor can't be allowed by the rest of the field to open up the gap again, surely not. But he is. It's a good effort for Sufor. Him there battling with Magic, and there's contact. Him up to P3, so gaining 2 places. Motta Macari trying to make a send on Magic. So Magic, after a great performance in the previous heat, and it's another disastrous exit again. But Motta Macari trying to force the gap. They're going to go side by side through the gravel. Magic with the better line. But now Motta Macari to the inside, and he's through up to P4. Sufor with all the time in the world, all the space that he needs. And Tim DC motivated to close in on Michael. Oh, Motta Macari is round. And surely that's it now. Tim versus Michael. Another MRC top 3. What can Tim do? Oh, it's a committed entry. Oh, lucky not to swipe the back of Michael there. Nothing he would have been able to do if Michael had just been a little bit slower through that, but well judged, I guess. As onto the back straight we go. Oh, it's a good move up the inside. Side by side through the final corner as well. And Michael hard into the wall, Tim hard into the wall as well. They're costing each other a lot of time here. Battling hard, probably unnecessarily, and Michael's going to lose so much time that Magic might get him. So pretty rough and ready racing between the teammates there, it has to be said. through the gravel trap for Magic, who, well, it looked like he might be catching Michael, but hasn't. As Sufor comes out of the final corner up to the chicane to begin the final lap once again, and the gap that he has is absolutely incredible. It's going to be 7 seconds by the time Tim gets across the line. Oh, Tim leaves a trail of tyres for his teammate again. Michael is not going to be happy with him after this. Michael's having to push so hard now to keep ahead of Magic. Well, there's no mate in teammate if you're in Master Race Car today. That was pretty hard driving between the pair of them. And they might suffer the consequences if Magic gets any closer. But Sufor now with a 7.5 second lead comes through the final hairpin. Oh, it's a little bit laboured, not as smooth as he'd want. But up to the final chicane he comes. Over start finish. And hard into the wall again, as everyone has been doing all evening long. Not sure why. Just trying to get as fast a time as possible, I suppose. And it's a 5-minute 6-second race, so only a second slower than his first heat race. Tim DC in P2 in the end. Michael Malek P3, bullied out of the way by his teammate, and finishes a second ahead of Magic and Mossa McCarry. So there we are then. That is your 6th and final heat race of the evening. 5-minute 6 for Sufor, followed by Tim DC and Michael, your podium, with Magic and Motta McCarry, P4 and P5. Sufor with the fastest lap of 58.72. And that brings to a close the heat racing. We are going to have some finals coming up in just a moment's time. I think we can now bring you the Heat 3 combined results. Yes, we can. And it's Sufor who finds himself in the overall lead with an average of 5 minutes 6.7. With Thamuli in second place, Unite third, Roni fourth, Tim DC 5th, Michael Malik 6th, Magic 7th, Magesta 8th, Motta McCarry 9th, and Martin Capel there at the back in 10th. And here are the grids for the final. We'll start off with the B final there in the right hand side of your screen. It'll be contested between Roni, Magic, Motta McCarry, Magesta, and Martin Capel. The winner of this will go on to the A final. And the layout is going to be reloaded for the start of the B final. Slightly different grid pattern for these races. But yeah, the winner of this race will be promoted into the A final, and we will have a 6-car A final to bring to a close the action from round 11 of Zafiralis All Rounder Championship tonight. Can't wait for the finals, always good. But Sufor there, the fastest combined time of anybody. Totally combined, it was a 10-minute 12 from his best 2 heat races. Sufor leads the way, but before we see him back on track, it's going to be Roni, Magic, Motta McCarry, Magesta, and Martin Capel fighting it out for that final spot in the A final. Yeah, just a reminder to everybody out there that we will have the test race for Retro Cup straight after this. So those of you not watching, you can go and get yourself ready on the... Well, those of you not racing here can go and get yourself ready for the start of that. But everybody else on this server is going to have to complete the finals as we get ready now. It's Roni finds himself on the pole. Magic in the middle, Thamuli on the far right of our screen, and the back row shared by Madjester and Martin Kapal, as Madjester gets a pretty bad start there, and it's Magic who's managed to get out ahead, and Madjester and Martin Kapal, as they have all evening long, crashing into each other once again. But it's Roni who leads Motta McCarry through the first corner. Madjester is on knobbly tyres, everybody else is on hybrids. We can show you that now on the screen. There you go. Different tyres for Madjester, hybrids for everyone else, which is unusual. Different strategy for him. But as we head down onto the final hairpin, it's Magic with a great run. Madjester on the inside on Motta McCarry. You'll see them coming through the screen now. Yeah, Madjester's made it through. He's up to P3 on those knobbly tyres. Very unusual strategy. And he really wants the advantage on the off-road sections, and it does look like he's pulling it away, but it's going to hurt him. As soon as he hits the tarmac, he will have way less grip than the other drivers, and there, Motta McCarry just able to send it straight back through. Even though the tarmac sections are tiny, the hybrid tyres just grip up way more. So yeah, bold to try and make that work, but it just hasn't at this stage, as Roni is trying to close in on Magic. Can he do it? Can anybody get Magic? 2-4 is the only one that's had the measure of him tonight. But Magic doing a stellar job so far. Final corner then. Motta McCarry and Madjester trade places again. Let's see actually how much Motta McCarry catches up here on this section, as Madjester tries to get the grip, get the power down. You know, he goes so wide, but now he'll have the advantage again. You can see the understeer as he hits the tarmac. The understeer is real, but it's still a good enough exit to pull a huge gap on Motta McCarry. Finals are 6 laps, 1 lap more than the previous heat races, so hopefully all the drivers have put that little bit extra fuel in. But Magic there with a 1.8 second lead at the previous timing line over Roni Krompush. And over start finish, we are halfway through the B final, and Magic is on his way to an A final start. He was unlucky to miss out on the A final anyway. Let's see if he can get through. So far so good, but a single mistake and it will be over. Madjester on those knobbly tyres. What can he do about it? Can he try and at least consolidate P2 from this race? Or is Roni just too far away? 2 seconds is now the gap. Oh, but third gear out of the hairpin, that was a bit laboured, but looks to be okay. What can Madjester do? Fastest lap with the knobbly tyres. But Magic is still pulling away at the front. I really wonder if Madjester can do something about Roni here in 2 laps. But look at that, the car just snaps to the right hand side as Madjester hits the tarmac section. He needs to... it's just difficult. Somehow he's still managing to get fastest laps, but it must be that much more grip on the rallycross sections than everyone else. Up to the final corner. The top three starting to close up, but this is the final lap now that we're going on to. Magic through an overstart finish. Roney through an overstart finish. And there goes Majesta. We're riding on board with him, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Roney's closed up 7/10 on this lap, but Magic has control of this race. Oh, it's so interesting watching Majesta through there. It looks like it's going to be a great entry, but he just washes wide. Same again, slightly compromises the exit there. But it is close. A couple more laps and this would have been a much closer race, but Magic has the measure of the field. Let's keep an eye on Roney and Majesta. Majesta can go for a big send here. Just push Roney a little bit wide. It's his last chance to do so. Roney hits the wall. This is a great opportunity for Majesta then. Yeah, but Roney just about had the grip coming off the corner. Magic will take the win. Who's going to take P2? It's going to be close. It's going to be Majesta, I think, across start finish. Yeah, Majesta registers the win. Sorry, registered P2. I got ahead of myself there. P2 for Majesta. Across the line in P4 comes Martin McElroy. But where is Martin Capal? Martin Capal is so far back. What has happened to Martin tonight? An unusual day for him, for sure. But there we go. Everyone is across the start finish. And our results are as follows. Magic ahead of Majesta, Roney, Martin McElroy and Martin Capal. Fastest lap goes to Majesta. Not the fastest with Sim tonight, but definitely the fastest in that heat. That's the last you're going to see of Majesta, Roney and Martin McElroy and Martin Capal, as Magic will be promoted up into the A final to join Thamuli, Michael Malik, Tim DC and Sufor. And let's take a look at the final grids. Magic there, the B final winner, takes up his place on A6, the A final. But Sufor is the favourite going into this, followed by Thamuli, then Unite, Tim DC, Michael Malik, all ahead of your A final winner. Can Magic do it from the very back to win the B final and then the A final? That would be something special, but he's got to get through 5 other very fast drivers, including Sufor, who was 13 seconds faster than anybody else combined in his fastest 2 heat races so far this evening. Just a couple of seconds to wait before we get going then for our final race of the evening, the all-important A final, as we will see who will be crowned the winner of round 11 and our final dirt round of the 2025 season of Zafiralis All Rounder Championship. And here we go then. Sufor on the front row alongside Thamuli and Unite. And the back row is Tim DC, Michael Malik and Magic. Everybody using hybrid tyres in this one, so it's a completely level playing field. Let's get going, shall we? It's a great start again from Sufor. Magic's got a good start too. Tim DC, elbows out already. Magic on the brakes, making sure he isn't involved. Oh, and he is! A huge wipeout. Tim DC is out. Magic has been heavily compromised there. Michael Malik with a very bent door. And that is again just evidence that the drivers are pushing way too hard on the opening lap. Just a shame to see an incident so early on that takes Tim DC out. But let's get excited for Sufor, shall we? He's had a clean start ahead of Unite, then Thamuli back to P3. But yeah, no further Tim DC will take no further part in this one. His car is still on its side at the first chicane. Hopefully that's not a protest. I mean, no, there we go. He has spectated, which is good. The cars will have no obstacles to worry about. But through the final corner comes Sufor, and I think unless anyone else can find something buried at the bottom of their performance, or if Sufor makes a mistake, what can we do? Sufor's been absolutely on it since the beginning, and I guess all that's left to say is that Unite's our only hope, which is not always what you want, but it's the best we got. Come on, Unite, what can you do? Wide on the exit for Unite, wide on the exit for Thamuli. Sufor just has all of the lines that he needs. Tight on the entry, tight on the exit, and opens up the gap to 3 seconds after just 2 laps. He is absolutely on it, and nobody else has anything to say. So we will watch the fight then for P3 overall. Oh, sorry, P4 overall. I think Magic is closing in on Michael Malik quicker than Thamuli is closing in on Unite. Where is the move going to come? Yeah, Thamuli just not close enough to Unite at this stage. And it's a battle then for 4th place. Magic versus Michael. There goes Sufor. Just you can see the dust rising on the left-hand side of your screen. Oh, but it's deep for Magic. Doesn't get the turn in at all. And that opens them up again. So yeah, the driver's just not able to get the car slowed down and turned in at the perfect points, as there are more tyres left strewn across the track. And Sufor still with a 3-second lead, so Unite hasn't lost any time on that lap. He's not gained much either. And what can Thamuli do? Can he take P2 and capitalise on as many points as he can salvage from this round? Sufor into the final chicane. Unite has gained a little bit at the last sector time. Let's see what it is over start finish. Nope, the gap has gone up by a second, so 3.4 seconds the gap. Oh, Thamuli hard into the tyres, leaves a stack of tyres in the way of Michael Malik, so that's going to bring Magic and Michael back together there at the back of shot. They're going to go side by side into the first hairpin. Yeah, Magic on the outside, all thanks to a set of tyres left by our 3rd place runner. Michael going into the side of Magic, takes back the place. But that was a little bit of intrigue. Sufor now 4.5 seconds, so that's another second gained on Unite. Nobody else has anything to say about it. Oh, Magic into the apex of that wall, loses time, but Michael wall riding a little bit, slowing himself down, so there's nothing really to choose between these guys as Sufor heads on to the final lap of the evening in absolute command of the race. 5.5 seconds now the gap, and it's his race to lose now. Sufor's done everything right so far, apart from his first heat race that went a little bit wrong. Everything else has been stellar. There is Unite in the background, followed by Thamuli. Michael and Magic still going at it, but Michael narrowly in the lead. As up to the final hairpin comes Sufor. Can he get the line right? Yes, he can. That's how you do it, ladies and gents. Tight in and tight out is the fastest way around the track. Through the final chicane he comes. An over start finish to win round 11 in style, as we switch back to Magic and Michael, who are still going at it. It's going to be Unite across start finish in P2, Thamuli will take third place. Michael, it looks like, will take fourth. It's close, the line, but fourth for Michael, fifth for Magic, and Magic gains 1 place as Tim DC DNF'd after not even one corner with that huge crash on lap 1. So another great effort from Sufor there, taking the overall win tonight. Let's have a look at the results then, shall we? Sufor wins in 6 minutes and 4 seconds ahead of Unite, Thamuli, Michael Malik, Magic and Tim DC. DNF there after just a few seconds of the race. Here are the overall results then of the A and B finals combined. Sufor is your winner tonight with Nico Pantola in P2, Thamuli 3rd, Michael Malik 4th, Magic 5th, Tim DC 6th, Madjester 7th, Roni 8th, Martin McCarry 9th, and Martin Kapal is 10th place overall. That is how the points will be distributed, barring any penalties and post-race changes. Glad we could bring you those results in real time. That is pretty much all we have time for tonight. Thank you so much for joining us for this coverage. Apologies for the lack of results early on. This is an unorthodox broadcast. I am away from home. Chris has joined me in the commentary box to support, but that is pretty much all we have time for. It was a fun one, as always, from the Zafiralis All Rounder Championship, and we hope that you enjoyed it. You can join the drivers at the same place in a month's time as we head to the final round of the year at a track to be decided, but it will be a slick race, and that will be on December 1st for the final round of the 2025 Zafiralis All Rounder Championship in Live for Speed. Please make it a bumper race. Let's get a big grid for that one. We hope that we will see you there. The Retro Cup test race has begun over on the Retro Cup server, but please go over there and join in for that race. You can join in late, it's absolutely no problem. Get some practice in ahead of the Retro Cup next Monday. Alright, thank you very much for joining us here on Sim Broadcasts. That was round 11 in the books, Aston Rallycross ARC. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all tomorrow night for Roni's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large, where we head to it's going to be the 107th ever RTFR XL, and it's sure to be a good one. From all of us here at Sim Broadcasts, we'll see you all tomorrow. Good night.